If a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it, does it really make a sound? Weird question. But what that falling tree does do is create energy that moves through the air, and if anyone were there to hear it, it would definitely make a sound. I hear lumberjacks. Sound is a wave, and being a wave means it has to move through something, a medium like air or water, and the energy from this wave pushes the medium into areas of high and low density called compression and rarefaction. And when these waves hit your ears, it produces vibrations, and that's the sound you hear. A fan of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and the show wrote in and asked, "Is there sound in space?" Of course, the answer's obvious. It's yes, no, maybe, and I don't know. And it all depends on where you are and what exactly is going on. Let's start with the stuff I don't know. I've never been in space, so I've never been able to personally test anything that I'm about to tell you, but it's all based on stuff that most physics professors would probably agree with. At least, it's the stuff they taught me, so yeah. Next comes the maybe. Space is full of tiny particles of this and that, and it's possible that with a big enough boom and lots of tiny pieces of what's it flying off the explosion, that it might set up compression and rarefaction distributions in the ambient particles in space. But it would have to be a really big boom or have lots of stuff coming off of it, and it's not the kind of sound a human being would ever hear. It would be like the ultimate galactic subwoofer and would require some pretty specialized equipment to pick it up. So if you see the guys in white lab coats rocking out up at the observatory, it's just getting down with the galactic bass. This brings us to no. The human ear wouldn't hear sound in space. It's mostly a vacuum. So when a Viper or TIE fighter comes screeching around and gets blasted and goes up in a ball of fire, you wouldn't hear anything. On a small scale, there are so few particles, there's no medium for it to make a sound in. So space actually sounds a lot like this. In space, no one can hear you scream, unless it's over the intercom. And that can be pretty annoying. Now comes the yes. You wouldn't hear a thing unless some of the gas or the bits of that spaceship that just blew up hit the hull of your spaceship. Then in all likelihood, it would sound like something hitting the hull rather than an explosion. Assuming, of course, it hits with enough force to make a sound loud enough that you could actually hear it anyway. Your spaceship or spacesuit has a little atmosphere inside it. Yeah, and it's a good thing too, because that's what you're breathing. When stuff hits the outside, it travels through the air on the inside, and you can hear it. So there you have it. The simple answer. Yes, no, maybe, and I don't know. I have a brother who works for some people who work for NASA. Maybe he knows. I wonder if the International Space Station guys ever blow stuff up. You know, to see if it makes a sound. Yeah, the last thing we heard before it blew up was... It was probably in Russian. We wouldn't have understood it anyway.